The First Lady of Nigeria has broken her silence on the feud between Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Natasha Akpoti over the sexual harassment allegations. While speaking to journalists ahead of International Women's Day, the First Lady said the Senate chamber should be a place of honor, not controversy, and urged Nigerian women to assert themselves in leadership positions by shutting down any form of sexual harassment.
I believe that Senate is doing what is needful because that's what it is. It's an inside place and it's a matured chambers. We shouldn't be hearing things like that. It's a matured chamber and it should be treated with respect. It's an honor for you to be in that place alone. I was there for 12 years. Even in my younger days, and I'm still trying to look young, you know. But people compliment you all the time. Only that, just put your place in yourself. Women, raise yourself high. Don't be in a position that men will be talking to you. You can always shut them down before they start. So all the very best. Keep doing your best. Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day to Senator Remi Tinubu, First Lady of Nigeria. So many takeaways from her comments there, one of which, you know, she said that the Senate House is what? What did she say again? For mature people, and it's supposed to be for mature minds. And the second, which we'll discuss after I take some tweets, is the fact that she said, you know, you'd have to find ways to shut men down before they sexually harass you. I mean, that's a comment from First Lady of Nigeria. Let me take Rinu Oduwala's tweet. She wrote, 9 years ago, she was also disrupting and creating controversy in the Nigerian Senate. She pulled up an old video. Let's take a look at that video.
Distinguished colleagues, order. Why I'm taking order. Order, distinguished Senator Tinubu.
Somebody's on the floor. On that side.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, why I'm taking us through this thing is because the nation is watching us.
All right, he said nations. I mean, there you have it. I mean, we are not at all encouraging, you know, the sort of disruptiveness on the show. We have talked about decorum and how important it is for the senators to show decorum when they're on the floor of the Senate. And that really is the main point. I mean, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. I'd like a comment from you because I'd like to also touch more on the issues that were raised about sexual harassment.
All right, thank you. So when this matter started, one of the people that some Nigerians had called on to speak up was the First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu. One, because of her position as the First Lady of the nation and a woman who has positioned herself as a women's rights gender advocate. And then second as well, because of her history and experience as having been a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a woman at that. So it was expected that she would understand some of the peculiarities of the challenges that women in the chambers face and be able to speak objectively to this matter. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if people would feel if some people might not feel disappointed by some of the comments made by her, with due respect. And I say this because, more than ever, she understands how tensions can get high and how, as a woman in a place where you're in the minority, you feel the need to speak up for your rights. We saw, thank God that the internet never forgets, and we saw that video. In fact, remember how that debacle between her and Senator Dino Melaye went on for so long that Dino Melaye came to Lagos on body loan and said he was in front of her house, let her do her worst. And a lot of Nigerians spoke up for her and spoke up for the injustice at this point. And she herself didn't need a lot of voices. Look at when they were shouting, order, order, she asserted herself.
Yes.
Thankfully for her, no one invited her to come before an ethics committee to defend her actions in the chambers. I wonder what the difference between that time and now is. One, was it a question of the leadership at the time? The fact that the leader was able to understand her stance and wasn't the leader in the direct eye of the storm, so he was able to be objective in this matter. Because that's the conversation we're also having, and I'm glad you said that, a judge and a jury in his own matter. Senator Akpabio is a principal actor in this situation. He ought to have, has been advised by well-meaning Nigerians to at least recuse himself. I said earlier on, even if it were for the optics alone, to show that in the chambers, things are done properly, and I'm a man of integrity. Therefore, I'm willing to subject myself to investigation to prove the fact that I am not, all these things you've said. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. What made matters worse is that it seemed as if her voice was further oppressed and depressed because she wasn't allowed to speak at all. She had to put in the mic, and then her mic was switched off, and she was unceremoniously walked out. It doesn't speak well at all for Nigeria or for women. And I said it earlier, 4 down to 3. Yes. I hope the other 3 female senators will survive in the House where it has become a gentleman's club. That's it's very sad to hear this.
Very, very sad.